Hey guys, today I am showing you behind the scenes of me creating a SHOWIT website template. SHOWIT is a similar interface to like Squarespace or Wix. Just think of that kind of service, and SHOWIT is a version of that, but it is the most customizable thing I've ever found in the way of website creation. You can literally do anything and it's a lot of fun. So today I'm going to be showing my process and getting you guys familiar with the back end of the interface in case that you want to create these templates too for yourself or to sell at Etsy like I do. So let's go. As we get in here, remember that simple, when it pops up and gives you different options of different things to start with, simple is the only one that they legally let you start with. So don't even touch the other ones. If you are thinking of selling it like I am, I sell templates, so I do have to keep that in mind. So if you are making this to sell, consider that. If you are making it just for you, then disregard because it doesn't apply to you. So for me, I come in here, I click on simple, and then I just delete all of this stuff out. I'm going to move myself over there. I'm going to delete all of these extra things out here that I don't need, because I want to make all of this, I want to design it the way I want to do it, so I don't need any of this. And I don't like this follow canvas they have going on, so I take it down to this for me right now. Also, I want to show you guys, I already planned out what I want the website to look like. I did this in Adobe XD, and so I've already kind of planned what I want it to look like, and now I'm actually going to create it. So this is just like a mock-up of what I'm going to create, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what we're going for. So I'm going to pull this out of the way. Actually, I think I might, I'm gonna throw this on my other screen so I can look at it at the same time. And we're going back over here. Okay. I highly recommend working with two screens if possible. It just makes it a lot easier to be able to look at that at the same time. So I'm going to start with my home page. So when you go to site, you're going to see this sidebar. So just take note that site and page have two different sideboard options or side panel options, and so you do need to take note of which tab you're in. For this tab, I'll just go through these really quick for you. Site settings, this is where you're going to put your name, and if you are selling it, this is where the share key is. Design settings, this is where you're going to set your color palette. And this is actually an amazing feature because if you ever want to change a color after the fact, you'll just come into whatever color is already there and just change it to whatever you want it to be, and it'll automatically update. So if I did a bunch of stuff in that color and then I later decided that like, oh, actually I don't like that color, I would just come in and change it and it would automatically update everything, which is really cool. So you don't have to go through every little thing and update it, right? Super annoying. I'm just doing these by sight right now. Typically I will post a hex code right here. Like I will pre-decide my colors and post a hex code, but for now I'm just gonna do this by sight because I didn't prepare enough. So yes, that's where I'm just pulling this, and I'm pulling this to find it. Like I said, you can just paste a hex code right there as well. So I'm just going to start with that. And then we are going to go to fonts. And I moved myself. So they have these fonts in here, and these are just kind of boring fonts, right? So they have all of the Google fonts in here. You can scroll through and pick out the ones you want to move over here. You can go to like Google Fonts, Google it, and then you can see like a live preview of what these look like before you click on them, because you don't know, like when you're just looking at the words, it's just kind of annoying. It does show you if you click on it, but like you don't want to have to click on every single one, right? Like that's going to take up a lot of time. So that's one option. And then the other option, and actually I'm going to show you guys one of my favorite fonts real quick. And I use it for a lot of designing, is this one. Love this one. Definitely recommend that one. And the fonts are kind of silly. It only lets you add one at a time, and if you know a hack around it, let me know. So I saved it, and then I'm going to go back to design settings and add a new font. And this is where you would upload custom fonts, and I have some custom fonts in here. I purchased these from Creative Market, they're commercial use, and I can put the link to the ones I have below. And I'm just going to pull in one that I want to use, and I actually don't know the name of the one I want to use off the top of my head, but we're going to go with this. And then just click add custom font, and it's added. Save. Okay. So now I have all my fonts and my colors pre-put in there. Media library. So this is where we're going to add all of your photos and elements, and I already uploaded mine, so I just created a new folder and then uploaded the files from my computer. So here's what we're working with. If you recall the mock-up I showed you a little bit ago, these are the elements that I used in there. So I'm going to start at the home page, and I'm going to go to the page tab now. And that's going to take us back to this is a layers panel. So if you're familiar with Photoshop, that will feel really familiar to you, the layer panel. Okay. So I'm going to start off with edit header, and it's going to open it up into just the header, and I'm going to do just desktop for a minute. I normally do this on my big screen, so gotta get used to doing it on my little screen. Not as easy to look at both at the same time. Okay, so I'm just going to add the color I want. That's pretty similar to my mock-up, and I'm going to delete this guy. I'm going to move these. I'm going to put like the logo in the middle, or the name in the middle. So move this over. And I'm doing like a brand photographer template. So that's how I'm setting it up, as if it was someone's brand. So I'm just going to name it like simple branding photography or something like that. And this is just a like mock-up, so this isn't a real brand. I'm just creating this as a template. So I'm just going to add the font. This has some letter spacing, so do you guys see? I'll zoom in on this for you. I'm like pointing on my screen, obviously you guys can't see. So if I zoom in, you can see that there's extra space between the letters, and I don't like that because it's a cursive font. So we're going to go back and take that out. And we're going to make this size bigger. Now that I see this, I'm not digging this font. Let me see if I can. Okay, yeah, I don't like this. I'm going to go back and add another font. Bear with me. Also, I think it looks like I didn't. Now it wants to be sassy. Alright, I'll go down here. Okay, let's try this one. And I'm gonna go back and see if I can get that one. Sorry guys, I don't know why that didn't save. I promise normally it works. Look, save. Okay, we're just gonna go with it. Alright, simple branding. I still don't love this font, but we're going with it. Yeah, that looks weird, right? Alright. I'm gonna have to play around with the fonts. Hold on a second. Okay guys, I am back. I ended up adding this font, and I like that one the best, so we're just gonna stick with it. Okay, so I want you guys to notice that when I click on this text, see how it's weird in this box? And for whatever reason, a lot of fonts just kind of come like that. And this is where you're going to change that, is the line height. So you can just adjust it. I also recommend keeping your text boxes really tight. So just keep it, you know, don't have it have extra space like that. Keep it really tight, because that's how we're going to know when we click center, it's going to actually center it, because it's only getting this. Whereas if I had this extra space, it's going to think it's that big, and it's going to center it different. See that? So we want it actually centered. And I'm gonna zoom out while I do this. I'm just going to add this. There, so the home, about, contact, maybe I'll be like Instagram or whatever. And then if you want to make sure a bunch of text is even, and for the sake of this tutorial, I haven't really been super meticulous about matching everything up. But I will show you how to make, so you'll like select like this, so pull, make a little square, it's going to select anything, align to group, it's going to make those all even, and then if you wanted to align to canvas, that's where you would do that. So now that they're all aligned, I'm just going to adjust it. Sorry, I'm so fidgety over here. Okay, so whoops, let me move that off. Okay, so let's stick with that for now. Like I said, I'm not being super meticulous right now. I just want to get to the good stuff. I'm going to click back to home page. Okay, so here's what we're working with for now. Now I'm going to add my hero image. So the image that's at the top of a website is typically referred to as a hero image. So if you're not familiar with that, that is what that term means. So I clicked on this image, and you can also click on it over here. I chose to click on it here, and then you can click right here. You can just trash it, or I just click on it and it automatically brings up my files in my media kit area, and I'm just going to add the photo I want to replace it with. And there we go. And you know what? I'm actually going to do something different here. So this is just an image in here. So if I wanted to move this, it's not the, oh, actually, you know what? This is the background. Take it back. Okay, so this is what we want. This is the background. So this is actually under canvas background, and it has the image in here. So this is just set. I can't really move this. It's just the way it is. The only way to adjust it is with these over here, you know, like top left, middle center. You can adjust that kind of stuff. Bottom center, you know, you can go through these and adjust what you want. So for this, I'm going to, let's see. And another cool thing to think about, kind of thinking it like this. Let me know which one you guys liked best in the comments. I kind of feel like this is what I had in my tutorial or in my mock-up, so I'm just going to stick with that for now. So notice this scroll option, parallax. So this is if you want this to just scroll with the page. So when you scroll, it's just going to scroll off screen. Parallax is when you scroll, it kind of goes behind the other layer, and it's just a really cool effect, and so I like to use it whenever I can. That only works when there's an image in your background. Now I'm going to add text. So down here in your bottom bar, you're going to see this text option, and I'm going to use a heading. There we go. And you see how that popped up. So here I am in this section. It's called Hero, and that was the automatic name that came with it. If you want to rename it, just click these little dots and click rename. And you can see that this is now popped up in the layer panel underneath. So it's telling me this is on this section, which is perfect. That's what we need. So I'm gonna put in my text here. I feel bad, this tutorial is going to be so long. You gotta watch every little tedious step. But you know what? You'll probably learn something, which is great. So I selected the font, here's the size. Again, there's that line height, and I am going to add some color or some letter spacing here, because I do think that effect is really cool when it makes sense. Right here it makes sense. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I just like to drag and put in different numbers to see. You can just use the arrows as well. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there for now. And then again, I'm going to add another, and I'm gonna say photography. And this is, see over here, lettercase. I accidentally had caps lock on, so I'm going to change it to normal, and so it will switch that right there. And if I wanted it just lowercase, etc., those are those options. And I'm going to make it, I think I ended up with this font. Let's see. We shall see once we get it up bigger. Yeah, I think this is the font I used above. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna do 100. Let's make it bigger. And I honestly like don't even, I'm still like not loving this font, but I won't take you guys through the hassle of my typography woes. And I'm going to center this. Remember, we left the shape pretty tight. I can honestly take that a little bit tighter. See how I had that extra space? Center. There we go. Make sure this is centered. Click on it. Centered. We're going to reposition this. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm going to add a button where somebody could just easily click it and go to the contact page. So over here you see this little square. I'm going to hover over it. It's going to give you these options. For this, I'm going to click rectangle. It'll pop up for you. And we'll drag this over and just kind of size this up. This is pretty big. Make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to make this shape style. I'm going to change the color. I want it to be white. Okay, I want it to have a border. So I'm going to add a little border and see how I feel about that. Take it back. We're going to do a border. I'm going to drag and just reposition this a little bit better to where I want. Then again, I'm just going to add text. I'm going to put inquire now. Go back to text style. And here you go. Now, if I want this to be a button, I'm going to click on the text and click on click actions and click where I want it to go. So I will want it to go to a different page. I want it to go to the about page, and then when I create that page, I haven't created that page yet, it'll pop up right here. If you did want it to go to any of these other options like a URL, that's where you would do it. You can also make these different choices. Okay, so there we go for our hero image. Okay, so now we are going to be adding the next canvas, and I'm going to show you guys how to add that. Okay, so see on home, I'm on the page tab, I'm on home because that's the page I'm working on. So that will say whatever page you're working on. Click these 3 dots and it's going to pop up with these options. We're going to say add blank canvas. I'm creating a brand new page. It will pop up at the bottom. I'm going to pull it up. And it's going to be slow on me. So rude. Over to, see now it's underneath. So now I've pulled it underneath my hero. I'm going to name this one. I'm going to say photo gallery, because that's what's going to be on this. So you might name that, you know, whatever. And here's where you can adjust. See how this is like only this big? Just pull this up and down to adjust the size. You can also over here just play with this number and change it, but this is way easier. And I'll show you guys really quick. I'm actually going to pop up. See how this is? I've done all these changes over here, but like on mobile it looks terrible. I cannot stand the way how hard they make that, but I mean it's good and bad. So if I were to click here, layout mobile, I have a couple options. These are the options that they give me for automatically supposedly, making it look similar to the other one. And you can see they're all truly terrible. They don't really save me any time. I'm just gonna go with this one. It's kind of better. I'm gonna just change the text size, but I still don't like it. Okay, guys, it's just not fun. So a lot of people will do this at the same time. So as they edit over here, they'll come over and edit over here. And I think that's a great workflow too. I just don't do that. I just do one at a time. That's just the way my brain works. I like to just go through one and then I'll go through another. That's just how I do it. So if you wanted to do both at a time, then I recommend keeping this up at the same time so you can keep an eye on what's going on over here at the same time. Another thing is, like, when it's over on mobile, it gives you this really weird, like, I wanted to click on this word photography, but I can't, right? Because the text block is weird. So come over here to the layer panel and click on photography, and it shows me that I have to click right here to move it in that very specific spot. I don't know if you'll find that annoying, but I found it very annoying. I like, there's so many things I love about this software, but that one just, come on. Okay. And then you would that obviously needs to be fixed, but you get the idea. You would just come in here and then reformat everything again to basically have to do everything twice. And that, I would say that is the biggest downfall or like disadvantage to using this, is that you do have to do everything twice, and it's not responsive. So you are doing, have to make it look the way you want. It's a pro and a con. It is cool to just be able to have a completely different mobile experience versus having it only be responsive where you don't really have many options. So I guess it's a love-hate. I just don't like the amount of time I have to spend, fixing it. Okay, you can see that's totally off center. Okay, I'm not gonna fiddle with it too much, but I'm definitely gonna think about that in my sleep tonight. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to set the background. And you guys remember that I did the mock-up already, and you also remember that I just kind of threw some colors in here and didn't plan it out. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go over here and steal a hex code real quick because I actually really like the color over here. Okay, color, hex code, pasting. All right, so there's the color I had in my hex code, or had in my mock-up. I'm gonna come back down to the shape, rectangle. This part will be kind of redundant for you, so I'll just speed it up. Okay, so this is how I'm going to add an image. Click on Media Library, and then I'm going to click on the images that I want to use. I'm just going to stay true to my mockup. Then I'll just adjust it in here. One thing to keep in mind is that it is auto cropping these, and it doesn't really give you an option to adjust the way that it looks once you change the size. So if you double click, it will just take you to the media library, so you don't really have an option. Like, that's just how it looks in there. And I'm just going to copy and paste that, and I'm doing that with my keyboard shortcuts. So if you're a Mac like me, it's Control-C, Control-V. I don't know what it is for not Mac, so I apologize for that. Okay, just pasting that again. And I'm just doing that because I want it all to be the same size. And I probably should have done that in the beginning, but it's fine. I'm like eyeballing this for evenness, but you can use the other features. Okay, then I'm just gonna go through here and click on the right images. And I'm using, I'm a photographer, so I'm using my own photos. But if you don't have your own photos, which could be the case, you can also use stock photos. I like Unsplash. There's other options as well. I'm also going to add a graphic in, and I got this graphic from Canva, and I exported it as a PNG, not PDF. And this is what it looks like. And I had it actually over here on my mock-up, but I forgot that it SHOWIT. It's kind of rude. It doesn't let you flip it. It only lets you turn it. So this will be a little bit different than my original design. That's okay. We're rolling with it. So that's what we have for that. And honestly, I want these to be a little more square. They're kind of rectangle-y. So I'll go back and fix that. But for the sake of this tutorial, I won't let you guys with that. Okay, now I'm going to add my next section. Again, pulling up. And yeah, I will just put this on fast so you guys don't have to watch the rest of this tutorial. Okay, so I finished out the design. I turned off the recording because it was really dull, just doing the same things that you've already seen. But I did want to show you, now that I have it done, I'm going to add in a little more animation and different effects. So I want to add a hover effect to all of my buttons. So when they hover over, it's going to change the color. So I'm going to click on whatever I want to change, which could be the button, it could be the text. I'm going to do the text. Coming down here to the hover, click custom, and just select the color. It's already black. It's already black, so I'm going to have it be pink. Sorry, I don't know why that. I was having a hard time saying that. Okay, and then I'm just going to come down and do this to all of my buttons, so that way when people hover, they think, oh, this is clickable. And then I would also connect all of my buttons. I don't have other pages built out, but I would click on these, click actions, and set wherever the button's supposed to go. And then I'm also going to add some animation. So I think it would be cool if you click on it, click on transitions. I'm going to have it slide up. And I almost do animation on everything just because it's really cool looking. And I think it just adds a lot of visual appeal. I will say though, it only shows the first time. So when your user lands on the page, they're only going to see the animation the first time they scroll through, which is totally fine. That is the norm. And I like to kind of set all of mine the same animation throughout, so that way it's not, you know, too overwhelming. Occasionally I do stray from this. I found that slide and fade are my favorite, and you can really get creative here and play around with the animation, with like the timing and the delay and direction. Like you can get like fancy in here, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna do this. Let's see, should we have that slide? Why not? We'll see what that looks like. And then, yep, so that's all I'm doing, adding animation. Again, pretty dull to just watch over and over again, but I did want to show you guys how I'm doing it. This is just an image, so I will just put it on fade, play around with that. Fade, cool. And yeah, so I would just go through all of this. There is an app that can connect your Instagram account to this platform to show it. I don't show it. I just I don't actually connect it in these mockups. I just do a example of what it could look like if it was there. So these are just images that I put in here. The icons that you see down here, I used. If you click on this, go to icon, it's going to pop up. And then you go to icon settings, you change the color, and then you choose which icon you want. And the icon that I obviously used was the socials. I'll zoom in on. Oh, sorry. Apparently opening the app store. So these are the little icons I used. This arrow is an image that I pulled in here from Canva. And yeah, so that's about what's going on here. And I'm just going to go back to homepage. I made that a site canvas so it appears on all of my pages. And yeah, that's about what we have now. My next step would be, you know, you hit publish, and then if you want to view what it looks like so far, which I typically do several times while I'm designing because it's hard to know really what the finished product is going to look like. So I definitely recommend doing this, and wow, it is loaded all crazy. So here you're seeing that parallax effect. See how this image is, see that how that this needs to be recalibrated. So right off the bat, I'm like, oh, okay, there's something I need to fix. Here we're seeing the animation. It's running really slow. I think it's because I'm recording at the same time, because normally this pops up in a very graceful, beautiful way. And once you're done with the mock-up or the live preview, you just exit out of it. We saw how this was going all crazy. I'm just going to come in here and make sure that it doesn't have any, see how it says horizontal locking? We're going to turn that off just by clicking. So that's going to get rid of that problem that we saw. So I'm actually glad that happened so that you guys can see it in action. And I will show you, actually that brings up a good point. This is a shape I put in here, and I do want this to stretch all the way. So that way, whatever screen it's on, it will stretch. And so I have it set like this, saying that I wanted this to be full page width, no matter what the size of the screen is. So I have that turned on. You can do that for all of these different options. And then I was going to show you, so this header up here, right now it's sticky to the top of the page, and so I'm going to make it not. So stacking order, and I'm going to do none, publish, and that should take care of that for us. Let's double check. Every once in a while it likes to be silly. So let's see, it should scroll off of the screen. There you go. So normally that was sitting at the top the whole time, and now it scrolls off screen. So you actually just scroll this page like that. So there is the tutorial or the example of how I built this page. I hope this is helpful. Put any questions below, and so I hope that helped give you guys a little bit of direction, a little bit of an introduction into the SHOWIT platform and the design process. Also, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I'll try to respond to them. And I'm also on TikTok and Instagram for messages as well.